Hi guys, and welcome back to PGI, Peter's Gaming Info, and we're here with new content, new game, Lies of P, which is a Souls-like that's been brought up by Andreus. It's gained a really good reputation and as a Souls-like, and it's a retelling of a dark and mature story of Pinocchio where puppets have gone out of control and it's just been killing a lot of human beings. Petrification disease as well, and that's open to puppets attacking humans and humans turning into zombie-like creatures, and there's monsters. It's all out. But we have a boss fight, which has been a really challenging boss fight. It took me about an hour, or just about an hour to do. And it's this boss here called Fallen Archbishop Andreus. So we're just going to kick off right into it. So I'm using a Legion, I'm using the Great Sword, and I'm using a Legion Blade, Legion Arm, attachment that has a flamethrower ability as well. I'm just going to be explaining some of this, analysing this boss fight and what happened. So at the moment you can see the white highlight over the boss, Fallen Archbishop Andreus. The health bar is turned white, and it's to indicate when the posture is really fragile. So similar to Sekiro, there's a posture system but unlike Sekiro, it's not visible, but it's only becomes visible when there's the white highlight over the health bar. So once you do more parries by pressing L1, which is perfect guard, it's essentially a parry, but it's a perfect block system. And it depletes the posture of bosses in this game. It's very handy to do. The timing is quite strict, so it will take a number of times to kind of get used to it. I'm not sure if they've changed that in the DLC or sequel patch. But yeah, you can see as I staggered it, and then you get this fatal blow sequence you can do, and very cool animation. It takes off quite a bit of damage. So I found this boss challenging because there's a number of multiple hits, number of combos that have been done by the boss, and even when you block, you'll receive damage as well. Not as much obviously, but you still receive damage. There is a rallying system similar to Bloodborne, or exactly like Bloodborne, where you can attack back in a period of time after your health is depleted from a block, and you can actually recover health. So it's quite handy if you do a number of R1 quick attacks, and then you can get your health back and get back into blocking or dodging. I used a lot more of the perfect guard and blocking in this game than actually dodging, just basically based on just how the system works. I think I've dodged more of the normal enemies, but for the bosses it's been better to do the perfect guard. You'll know blocking, when you get a perfect guard, when you get this red spark that appears, and that indicates you've done a perfect guard, which, like I said before, does damage to the posture of the boss. So now we've got a second phase that has happened, and in the second phase going on, we've got a whole different type of boss fight at the moment. So, thanks. Yeah, thank you. And so with the second boss fight, it's very similar to the first fight, but you've also got on two sides you've got a different growth that's happened with the boss. But yeah, there's the Archbishop that is fallen, is just mutated into like an extension of the boss. But it took a number of tries, but it was an entertaining fight, really challenging. It took about over an hour, so I've had to just shorten the clip to about half an hour. An interesting fight. I think the difficulty of this game really depends on if you choose to use summons, which are called spectres in this game. Hence there's no summons you can do in terms of players. Human players you can't summon in this game, just like Sekiro. But what's more forgiving is that you actually have AI you can summon through that blue point sword just at the gate of the boss. So that attack there is always a 3-hit attack. Do a sweep, and then he'll do a downward attack, and then he'll do another sweep followed up as well. And that tongue attack is a 2-hit combo, so that will always do 1 hit and then do the other. So, and then second hit, as you can see. So there's 2 perfect guards I think there, where it flashed red. So yeah, fun boss. It looks very Bloodborne-like in terms of being a big monster that you actually fight compared to like a humanoid sort of boss and stuff. Very nasty looking, very creepy. The game's definitely inspired from Bloodborne and Sekiro. It takes elements of both. And I'm a big fan of Sekiro. It's one of my favourite Souls-likes, along with Elden Ring and this now. I mean, I've never heard of NeoWiz before. The company apparently is a Korean company. They've done a lot of mobile games, but I've never heard of them. But they have really delivered. I mean, this is going to go in my, I think, top 5 of Souls-likes, and I've played a lot of Souls games. Completed a few, but this definitely, I've completed Sekiro, Elden Ring, got quite far with Bloodborne. Got quite bored with Dark Souls 3, I probably didn't give it enough go. And I've completed Armored Core 6 as well. So I played a number of Souls games. I played Lords of the Fallen as well, which I found the level design bit easy to get lost in, which is what kind of put me off. But maybe I might go back to that. But so far I've thoroughly been enjoying Lies of P. I have to be honest, I did have some sort of hesitation towards doing some of these boss fights because I heard they're really challenging, and they've also got 2 phases with 2 full health bars, and you carry on the same resources. So your healing items, you need to know how to manage them or do the first phase almost perfect. So there's been some, kind of hesitation towards, should I, take this game up? Is it going to be too difficult? Am I going to enjoy it? Is it going to be a game I'm just going to pack in? And I would say stick with it. I mean, I think I even thought of this strategy where if you're struggling too much, obviously there's leveling up systems towards your damage, towards your Legion arm, which you can customize, which this is essentially your prosthetic arm, similar to Sekiro. And you can obviously upgrade your stats, your strength, your defense, all that kind of stuff. So I thought, even if you go back to previous levels and just go through the enemies there, and then you acquire Ergo, which is essentially your souls and runes from my Elden Ring and my Souls games and stuff, and you just grind there, you can probably have a character strong enough, if you really are struggling. And I was thinking of that as a strategy, but I just didn't take it up. I just said, I'm just gonna it's learn the enemy attack patterns as usual, and just develop a good strategy for just dealing with it. It was hard. It was definitely hard as heck, but it wasn't it wasn't impossible to do. With my level of character. So just stick with it. I think it's a really good Souls-like. It's got really good graphics. It's got a cohesive, coherent story. It's a unique sort of story and setting as well, with being a dark retelling of Pinocchio and everything else. And so many variety of enemies, not just evil puppets, but you've got humans that are turned into zombies. You've got monsters and all sorts of things. So there's a lot in this game, not to mention the weapon variety, which is huge. You've got so many options of different weapons that you can choose. So it's a good one to throw yourself into. But I think you have to kind of like Souls games, because when you come to the bosses, you don't understand how they work and don't understand the specific timings when you're meant to attack and when you're meant to defend. And more importantly, if you're not paying attention to this, you will die a lot. This isn't a game that you can just put on easy. It doesn't have a difficulty setting. It is hard from the get-go. So just be wary of that if you choose to take it up. But if you like challenging games, you like Souls-likes, this is a definite one to get. Like, really, really is. And Neowiz have done a superb job. I think this is close to From Software level, you know, of a Souls game. So I highly rate it. Yeah, I got crushed by the red attack. The red attacks they're not unblockable, but the only way of blocking them is to do perfect guard. If you don't do perfect guard, it's either dodge or get out of the way, and they're kind of hard to avoid, like really hard to avoid. So you either want to run away and dodge, or you want to be able to perfect guard against it. So when you die, as I did, you always see that you come back to the Stargazer, your checkpoints throughout the levels, and you always have Lost Ergo to recover. Lost Ergo is what you use to upgrade your stats, so your strength, your defense, all that kind of stuff is what you'd be using it for. So there's the 2 tongue attack, perfect guard against both. Those will always be 2 hits. And then I tried to perfect guard against the red attack. I can't remember what they're called, but I didn't so far. But it's and if you can see there's a sort of random system like I was talking about in the bubble, where you can see there's recovered health I can get back, and you get that back by quickly attacking as well. So it's got a number of systems in place. Another important system as well is weapon durability. So your weapon over time will take damage. You use one of these grinder sort of tools, and then you can get your durability back, and that will allow you to do more damage and not allow your weapon to break and be pretty much useless, really. So I'm getting into the flow of things. I'm starting to understand the attack patterns. You know, there's the 2 tongue attack again, perfect guard against both, and just, you know, chipping away at the boss. You know, I think it's a game of being really attentive, observant, but it's also and learning attack patterns. But it's also a game of patience, where you can't, especially with this boss, there's not many windows of opportunity to attack, as you can see, and that's part of the difficulty, on top of the boss having a number of attacks and doing a lot of damage. So you really want to be attentive. You really want to learn the attack patterns. Any pressing buttons in this game, or button mashing, will not do any good. It's probably the worst game to do it in. The normal enemies aren't so difficult unless we're talking about mini bosses, but you know, the major bosses, those are the ones that hold the most difficulty in these type of games, and especially in this game. Yeah, I think I will continue streaming, uploading content for Lies of P as I go through. It'll probably just be in like major bosses that I come through, or bosses that I feel that, yeah, I like the design or the fight of this boss, and I'd like to show you, you know, and see what you guys think. So at this moment in time, I'm consistently getting to the second phase. I've cut this video down because it would have been an hour to go through. It really took a long time to get through this boss, which I found, you know, challenging, like really challenging. So this was interesting because in the second phase, there's this like mutated sort of human or mutated sort of like being thing, angel with this wand that grows out of this boss. It looks really nasty when it happens, but the point being is that this one here has different attacks compared to the other side. So there's 2 faces to the boss, and this one, you know, isn't too bad, but it's kind of difficult to hit from what I can see. So it's much better when you've got the other side, which you're more used to its attacks. The attacks are very similar compared to the first phase of when you're fighting this head, the one with the tongue is hanging upside down. So it's just me just, you know, trying to get my parries on and try to get in the right time to attack. It looks like every time that you block the 2 tongue attack, you always got enough time to get a hit in, even if it's a single hit. and then after that spook thing, you will do another attack or something after that. I mean, it's a nasty looking boss. It's a really big one. The one thing I didn't like about this fight is that once you're stuck in the corner or near to the wall, the camera goes really wonky, and it's just really annoying, and it's really difficult to deal with. So this part here, I've got it into stagger state, and then you can get this really cool animation that comes up, and you can attack the boss there as well. And does major damage. So this, you can see, is like storing up some laser beam. I ran underneath it, but then got crushed by him falling down. Fallen Archbishop Andreus, what a boss. And then I was nearly dead here, but I just got the perfect parry there, and that's it. If I didn't get that, I'm sure it would have been, and there we go. Fallen Archbishop Andreus down. A really difficult boss fight. I mean, I saw streamers like Jesus Here's Toast fighting against this boss, and I thought, damn, like this is, but knowing him, he would have made it as challenging as possible. He probably wouldn't have upgraded his stats that much, knowing him, and he'd probably be using a weapon that, you know, will limit him in some way, because that's just how Jesus Here's Toast likes to play. Me, I'm buffing my stats, I'm buffing my weapons, I'm not giving. No, I was too forgiving to the bosses in Elden Ring. I think I really was. I should have used them as broken weapons and upgraded like everything. But I upgraded a lot of things, but I didn't get the busted stuff. And I think Elden Ring bosses were just really tough towards the end of the game. I think stuff like Godskin Duo and Fire Giant, Radagon, the really cool one, Godfrey, Elden Beast was really annoying and I think pretty difficult. There was a lot of difficult hard bosses, I think, towards end game, and you had to be at a high enough level. But anyway, that's enough about Elden Ring. Yeah, that boss is laid out flat, thank goodness, stay down or fade away like you do. And yeah, you go to the Stargazer, you use that, and you just see me, you know, just use the Stargate, because that'll be the checkpoint and where you recover your healing items and your health and everything else. And you can also teleport to the hotel. Definitely recommend you do, so you can get your upgrades in and talk to NPC characters. It's a great game so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's a great Souls-like, great game. And I hope they bring out DLC and sequel. Anyway, check you guys later on. Thank you.